Now we're going to talk about getting the resolution right on your images. And this is something that really isn't well understood, or should I say it's misunderstood. You only have to worry about this with bitmap images. Now you can see the photograph there. Anything that's a photograph like this is a bitmapped image. Let me just move to a different page here. Here you can see a piece of clip art. Now clip art has a look and feel that you know it's clip art, and in most cases this is going to be a vector image. A vector image is something that's created with lines. It can be very complicated in Corel Draw or Illustrator. Now the advantage with vector images like this is that they can be enlarged to the size of a small planet without loss of resolution. However, they have a flat field. You can never get the texture that you can out of a bitmapped image as per a photograph. Now, just because it looks like clip art, it really doesn't mean that it is. But how you can tell, you can normally tell by the extension, but not necessarily, is if you zoom in on it. So I can zoom in on this image, and I'm going to go really, really tight here. And as you can see, all the lines are smooth. I can't even get any smaller here, and the lines are smooth. So these lines are actually mathematical formulas, and if you enlarge it, it's just whatever it is times 2. So they never lose resolution. However, if we move back to the other page here, and I go to this photograph, and this is a high resolution photograph, but when I zoom in here really tight, you can see all the individual pixels. So this is a bitmapped image. No matter what it looks like, if it has pixels like this, it's a bitmapped image and not a vector. So you don't need to worry about resolution for vector images, but you do need to be concerned about them for bitmapped images. Now, I just want to correct something you're going to hear all the time that is incorrect. People will tell you that you need an image at, for example, 300 dpi. dpi stands for dots per inch. There's no dots here. They're pixels. So the correct term should be pixels per inch, ppi. And I'm fighting against the tide here, I know it, but at least I've got it off my chest that this is the right way to refer to it. Now, the most important thing to know about resolution is that the PPI is only relevant based on the size of the image to be printed. And I'm going to get into that in a lot of detail coming up. The other thing you need to know when determining what the correct PPI is you've got to know the line screen of the press on which it's being printed. Now you don't know that, so you've got to ask somebody, but most color printers are going to be running at a line screen of 150 lines per inch. So that's a row of dots. There's going to be 150 of those every inch. So the bigger that number, the more resolution you need. So the rule of thumb is to take the line screen of the press and double it. So that's how the most common is 150. So they double it. So 300 ppi is what people recommend. However, if you're taking something that's running on maybe an old newspaper press that may be running an 85 line screen, then you only need to double that, and that would give you 170 ppi is all the resolution at actual size that you need for your image to come out correctly. Now, not many people know that. There are also some very high-end presses which are running at a 200 line screen, in which case you're going to need more resolution in your image. But for most commercial printing, 150 line screen is pretty common. So the standard is 300 ppi, and that's really what we're going to be looking at. The other thing that you need to be aware of is that you can get away with a bit less than that. So while the optimum is twice the line screen, if you go 1.5 the line screen, chances are you're going to get away with it. So if you have an image at actual size that is 225 ppi on a 150 line screen press, it's going to come out pretty good. But if you start going below that, you will definitely see a deterioration. But you're going to aim at twice the size. So that's an overview. In the next movie, I'm really going to get into detail here, where the PPI is based on the size of the image.